Good evening, ladies and gentlemen from sunny Abu Dhabi. It's already evening here. Whoever is playing in the morning, good morning. And today is a special day. We have our online tournament of Abu Dhabi Chess Festival with the $10,000 prize fund. And first prize will be $5,000. Second prize will be $3,000, and the third prize will be $1,500. And of course, a special prize for the best female woman player. It will be $500. We are going to play 11 rounds today, and then we are going to have a playoff. We are on the round 2 right now, and we can see very famous chess players like Hikaru Nakamura is playing in the tournament, Benjamin Bok, Din Bogdan, and Sean Clant, many famous names in the tournament. And right now we are following Hikaru Nakamura's tournament, where he is playing with the white pieces against Abdin Atakhan. And oof, what is happening in this game? What is happening in this game? Rook b2 was played. Wait, is this an exchange? Takes. Yes, it looks like an exchange. And okay. If you have, by the way, any recommendations, any game you want to follow, or just let me know. Shall we go on the second board? Here Nakamura has a little disadvantage in the game, but it is going to be all fine. And let's go to the second board. Here we have Girman playing against Andrew Hong. And okay, what is happening in this position? It's currently black to play. Black is supporting the bishop g7, just in case. Are there some ideas happening here? Okay, knight d4, and white cannot take, because if black takes, then the knight is pinned. Maybe white shall take the king away at some point. Okay, now the king cannot come here because there is queen c3. But after queen c3 there was queen g7. Is rook h5 a threat right now? What happens if, let's say, queen b6 threatening to give a checkmate? Rook h, queen f7 was played. Okay, rook h5 maybe was a little bit scary for black. Okay, now h5 is not hanging. f4 maybe can be played, trying to... Well, but what is the black's idea now? King b1. Okay. Where is the mistake? Where is the mistake? Bishop... No, knight f3. And there is a fork. Okay, white plundered an exchange. And if queen g2, just knight g1, rook g1. And is there e4 here? Okay, we will be back. By the way, meanwhile, Nakamura won his game against Abdin Atakhan, and after the moment where white was exchanged down. Okay, what happened exactly? And what happened in this position? Well, hard to say. And black is winning. Rook c3, simply. This is what is happening on the second board. Let's see what is happening on the third board. Okay. Dmitry Andreikin with the black pieces, and Andreikin is winning his second game. Abdurkhamov against Rudik Markarian, another rook endgame. Okay, and the pawn is simply coming to f3 and rook f1. Looks like winning for black. Okay, just rook f1. Yes, it is game over. Okay. Let's see how many games we still have going on. What is happening in this position? Sviatoslav Bazakutsa. queen e3. Is there a d4? Was there a d4 move? Yes, there was a d4 move. Looks like it was missed. But here if queen took, pawn takes. Okay, there is always d4 supporting the pawn, and the pawns are very well protecting each other, but also this, this looks like a draw. Is there? So none of the pawns is moving right now, and now, yeah, it looks like a draw. Oh, and Bardia Daneshvar just runs out of time, but there was simply g6 or even g5 or any other move, and it was a draw. Because not before, not d4 were ever being touched. Okay. So it was a drawish position. Any other games that we have right now? Interesting. Black is winning. And is there simply king f3 or, yeah, rook a2 with the plan of king f3 and... Okay, there was king f3 and later... Okay, now he's gonna do it, but also can just bring a queen, but takes the rook against Sergei Lebanov. And yeah, that looks like it. We have another 2 games going on. Okay, looks like white has an advantage. Bishop and 2 pawns versus the rook. Bishop e2. Okay, but the moment when the pawns move to the white squares, the black king is simply standing on the b6 square and stops the movement of the pawns. Now white's idea was to bring the king to a7 and try to push the pawns. Okay, maybe actually can push. Okay, b6. Wow, this looks now a7. Okay, the problem with the a7 was that the rook is always hunting the king. The rook was always hunting the king, and there was the issue. This looks like a draw if no one runs out of time. Bishop b3, just rook a3. Wasn't there a7? I think there was a7. Oh! What a blunder! What a blunder! Let me show you again. So white simply blundered the rook. It happens. It can happen in every game, with everyone, especially when you're playing a rapid tournament, Blitz tournament, sorry. Okay, round 3 is going to start very soon. Yeah, and there we start. Okay, let's start with the Hikaru's game. We have London system, and Hikaru is playing with the black pieces. He chooses to go with the bishop d6 line, and white is taking his time. Gata Kamsky. Mr. Kamsky is playing with the white pieces, and queen d6, queen d6. Now white has a few ideas, can set up the usually, and black's c5 is coming somewhere. Okay, it just happened. Gata Kamsky versus Hikaru Nakamura. This looks awesome. e4, we're still in the opening. Can black simply capture? Yes, that is what is happening. And the queen has many squares to run away now. But most likely black will choose the queen a5 move. And after which white is simply going to play a castle and continue the game. On the second board, we have Andrew Hong versus Harshvardhan. Okay, this looks very complicated. And okay, after g takes on h5, queen h5 is going to happen. That's why black had to push the g5 pawn. And now white cannot attack the g5 pawn, but white always has this beautiful outpost on d4 square for the queen or for the knight. Can white somehow attack the pawn, or it's not happening in this game for now? Knight e2 was played. Okay, the knight is coming for the d4 square. h6. h6 is very interesting. What happens if captures? Maybe queen h5, king g7. This is the black's idea. And later maybe white will bring the rook through e3 square to the h3 square. Yes, and rook e3. Are we going to see rook e3 with the rook h3? Okay, I will go back to the Hikaru Nakamura's game where he's playing with the black pieces against Kata Kamsky. Rook c5, bishop f3. b7 was hanging, maybe rook d1 now trying to... Okay, rook d1 was played. After rook d1, black has to improve the position, but how for now? Maybe a6, b5 might be an idea, or just a b5 right away, if it's not too risky. Or maybe it is risky. Okay, knight e8. Most likely knight is going to come to d6. Is there rook d3 trying to play before knight f5, or the knight is on time to come to d6? Okay, knight b3 was played. Rook c7, holding the position. Everything is protected for both of them. Everything is protected for both of them, and I don't know if it's a problem or it's not, but yeah. Knight d6 was played. h4, white is starting the attack. b5, oof. At one point I'm saying that everything is protected, and on the next moment I can see h4, b5, the pawns are pushing. a3, a5, okay, b4 is on the way, trying to create some game, some attack, so that it will happen. Is there rook e5? Rook e5, maybe f6, okay. b4 is on the way, and b4 is not possible because rook c3 is always hanging. So rook e5, okay, rook e5 was played. The idea is that after b4, rook a5 is hanging, but is there simply f6 trying to push the rook away, or rook h5? Might be a pretty interesting move because h7 pawn might be hanging, and if you push h6, later you don't have the g6, but bishop e8 can be attacking the rook if all of this is happening. Okay. What is going to happen now? What is Hikaru going to choose? b4 is not a thing. Oh, b4 was played, but rook a5. But rook a5. Rook a5, what's the idea? To take, rook c3 with the later knight c4 maybe? And he took his time. Okay, rook a5. Maybe knight c4 after rook a5. Rook moves. Okay, took. Black took. And black's idea here is that black is creating a weakness somehow on b file, because this pawn is too far from the all other pawns. Later, if black manages to take this pawn, try to use the fact that black has an extra pawn on e file. And we can see that how white's pieces are going back. g3, okay, the rook knight is not hanging, just for you to see. If the rook captures, the rook captures, and it happens so that the pawn is actually just trapped, just pinned. So g3. Is there king f7? Okay, king f8 was played, and now the knight is actually hanging. Knight e2, knight c6. Very nice, because the king is no longer protecting the knight on d6. Okay, bishop e8 was played. And after bishop e8, rook d8, king e7 might be a move, and then bishop f7, putting pressure on b3 pawn. So maybe rook d... Okay, rook a3 now is going to be played, and this rook is no longer attacking it. If the rook leaves this... The problem is that the rook cannot come to b7. Okay, h6 most likely. Yes. h6. Okay, but king f8. Is this rook going to be trapped at some point? King f8, king g8. Okay. Again, king f8 has to be played. There is no other move. And the problem is that after rook h8, bishop g8, there is bishop d5. So, okay, we have a draw. We have a draw. And let's check Andrew Hong. Okay. Rook endgame, and white is up a pawn, which might be winning, might not. By the way, if you have any recommendations, any game you want to see, just type it in the chat in YouTube and we can go to check the games. Whose game shall we check more? Okay, Din Bogdan is still, no, yes, he's still playing. Let's check his game. Bishop e3, bishop d6, are they repeating? King e6, another endgame, king f7. This rook has to stand on the fourth rank, trying to support both pawns. Rook c4, bishop e7, rook e4. Okay, it looks like they are repeating a lot for now. Yeah. By the way, meanwhile, on the second board, Andrew Hong won. And Black runs out of time. Wow, what a loss for Bogdan. What a loss for Bogdan. I can see a game, Maria Gevorgyan against Tatikan. Okay, the rook versus the knight. Okay, it ended in a draw. We have 3 games left before we move to the 4th round. And okay, Luca Paijadze also ran out of time right the moment when we went to check. Okay, this looks like a draw, but is there knight c5 somewhere? Okay, this is a draw. The king is just going to a8 and it is going to end in a draw. And black is winning. Theodore Slade is winning. Very nicely spotted. Queen g5, not to give a stalemate anywhere. And we have the round 3 finished. And we are moving to the round number 4. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Andrew Hong is playing against Riet Samadov. Let's watch the Nakamura's game to see what is happening after he drew the previous round. Okay, he's playing against an international master, Dimitri Alexakis. And okay. Now it's black to play. It's tricky. Maybe black can simply develop the pieces with the knight f6, bishop d6, then castle. Or can black simply take knight f6, but that is going to give an opportunity to... okay, that is exactly what happened. An opportunity to give the double pawns, and white used it. Now bishop e7, castle looks pretty normal. Not bishop e7, bishop d6. Yeah, first of all attacking on d3, then moving forward, bishop e7 and castle, bishop b2 most likely, knight d7. Now black is going to try to put some pressure on the pawn on d3. e5, castle, yes. Okay, does black have later some ideas to push f5? Or maybe just simply f6 and try to, yeah. Just simply f6 and try to attack on the d3 pawn, but knight d4 is a beautiful square. Knight can come to f5 somewhere. Even just an idea, knight d4, knight g3, knight f5, not this knight, knight h4, knight f5, and the other one on h5, trying to put pressure on g7, but this did not happen. Now c6 pawn is hanging. White is finally using the fact that black has double pawns, and black is offering to take the pawn, and white takes it. White takes it. Well, now black has to protect the bishop. Queen b6. Yeah. Is white going to exchange the queens? Yes. Look at this beautiful knight on d5 square. It's just a fantastic standing knight. d4. Nice. Very nice move. Breaking through in the center. And if black captures, white simply takes and the pawn cannot take because rook is attacking the rook. Like, for example, if takes, then simply the rook is hanging, so this is not going to happen. d4 was played and black is in a really tough situation right now. Well, Black captured, and most likely knight d4 is going to be on the board now. Okay, let's see if there is anything else happening. Any other interesting games? Here white looks to be winning. Hikaru Nakamura looks to be winning. Tin Bogdan, he ran out of time with the previous round in a very painful way. So let's see what is going to happen in this time. Okay, e6 looks to be hanging. The knight is going to transfer to the d6 square soon and putting a pressure on b7 pawn. And this pawn looks to be like hanging right now. And yeah, and there is a big time difference. Going back to Hikaru Nakamura's game, it actually happened. Knight d4 happened, and bishop b7, of course, again, one more time. Black could not capture the rook, the knight, because the rook will be gone. And bishop b7, knight b5. White noted a beautiful square on d6. Bishop d5 was played. C takes d5 and rook e7 and a4. Okay, a lot of moves have been played, and white's position looks to be completely winning, especially with this pawn. Now white will simply bring the king if they will manage to d5 square with the g3 move, preventing knight f4 check. So rook c6, and if white manages to create the second passed pawn, then it will be game over. Any other interesting games? Shankland Rud Makaryan, we can check this one. Okay, black is exchanged down, but with the e4 move, looks like black is very well supporting the bishop on f3. Is this that easy? Especially, okay, might be because black has only 20 seconds on the clock and white has like 2 minutes. Okay, rook e6 was played. Oh, looks like white can win this game. Benjamin Bok. Okay, Benjamin Bok is playing with the white places against Atrium's 3-book, and both of them have 3 points out of 3. 100% result for now. Queen c4. What is happening on the chessboard? So after queen c4, is there a free pawn? Another free pawn? Bishop f6 takes knight f6. Okay, rook c1 first. And queen a2. Okay, I'm starting to like the black's position somehow. I don't think white can exchange the queens, or they can. Sorry, white has a rook. I just realized white has 1 extra rook. Is there simply queen a2? Like, okay, it was, yeah. Now it's an exchange. Okay, white is going to grab the a7 pawn. Wow, these pawns might be simply walking very soon if white doesn't do anything specific. Before it's going to be played a5, supporting a5. Okay, rook c7 was likely. Yeah, it was played. And meanwhile, Hikaru Nakamura won his game. Bogdan Daniel Dick, he also won his game. Sam Shankland won his game, and now we're following Benjamin Bok's game, who is playing with the white pieces and trying to win. Okay, if bishop manages to block on b3, then maybe these pawns are not as much moving forward as I thought they are. This had to be played. Now black rook b7 and trying to push the pawn. Does this idea work? Okay, that's exactly why I wanted to play rook b7 first, so that the rook doesn't come to b5. a5, is this a free pawn? Yes, it was a free pawn. Okay, b2, rook b2, this looks like a game over, but it's normal. Black doesn't have time, he's playing only on seconds. And yeah, everything can happen. Rook d5, g4. This is not that easy to win, especially when you have a few seconds. Everything can happen, as we saw in one of the games where white simply blundered the bishop. Okay, king f6. How to break through e4 works, but e4 rook h3. Bishop e7, rook c8, and now the rook is coming after the e6 pawn. Okay, rook e4 was possible after... Is this a draw? No, this is not a draw. Okay. Now king g6 maybe, just to... Well, they don't have time. They don't have time to do anything about whatever is happening. Everything is happening so fast. Okay, they are repeating. Rook c6. Not so many games left. Only 3 games going on for now. Okay, bishop f6, e4 takes, and now it's very important not to let the king come closer to the pawn, because if it will be lost, then it's not that easy. But now it looks like equal. It looks very drawish. How white wants to win. If white exchanges these pawns, then that's it. The rook versus a bishop, and it is a draw. It is a draw. Bishop c3. Okay. There is no way, but both of them, they don't have time. And suddenly white's next move is f5, and white is winning again. Wow, this was brilliant. Brilliant game. Well spotted, well spotted. The king was placed very wrong on f6 square. And this is what happens when it is in the wrong spot. Bishop b4 check is not possible, and the next move was going to be a checkmate. We have another game, the last game, Karthikeyan Murali versus Dmitry Andreikin. Okay, white is completely winning, yeah. And game over. I guess we are going to have a short break after round 4. 6 minutes break after round 4. And one more time, don't go anywhere. You're following the online Blitz tournament of Abu Dhabi Chess Festival 2024, and I'm your host, Maria Gevorgyan. See you soon. Back to the Blitz tournament, online Blitz tournament of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, and here we have round number 4, and yeah, now round number 5, sorry, and the games are in progress. Okay, so on board number 1, we have Speed of Light versus Levan Pansulaya, a Georgian player. I don't remember how many times he won the tournament, but yeah. Okay, let's go to... if you have any preferences in the games to watch, just please send it in the chat. And we have Hikaru Nakamura versus Jun Zhao from China. And okay, looks like we're going to have a5. a5, I thought e5 or c5. Bishop g2. Okay, black is pushing. What is going to happen? Queen b6, b2 pawn. The bishop is kind of stuck here to protect this b2 pawn right now. And still, I want to, okay, now white plays knight e8 and f6 later. We might see if black manages to protect the pawn on e6. King h2, king h2 was played. Is there queen c7, but white wants to play f4. Yeah, this f4 is coming, f4, knight f3. f4 is on the way, and black wants to play f6. h4, h4 was played. Does white want to push all the way there to h6? Looks like c3. Wait, now black needs to understand if the knight is ever getting to b3 square or no. d4, c4, there is knight c7 maybe. Yes, knight c7. Now, h5, yes, he is going to h6, but can black block it now? If blocks, then maybe if... okay, I think h6 is going to be played. Yeah, absolutely. g6, and now white wants to bring the knight to e4. Well, it goes to f3. Is d4 hanging, or maybe the idea is to play bishop g5 and exchange the queens, and later try to somehow transform the queen to the f6 square, from where it will be a checkmate. Okay. Knight f3 was played. f6, knight c5. Okay, but now bishop g5. Bishop g5, b2 pawn is protected by the queen. If knight b3, the rook simply will run away to the e1 square. Yeah, yeah. This looks very interesting. Knight d4, okay, he decides to grab the pawn. Okay, let's watch the game of Shankland. And Shankland is playing, has 4 out of 4, and is playing against Denis Lazavic. e4, if captures. Wait, is there knight e4? Let's say takes. Is there queen e4? And it is a checkmate. Wow. Okay, this looks pretty interesting. e4. And what to do now? Okay, this is exact. And knight a6. Okay, knight f6 might be played. Knight d6 was played. And this is the current position. Benjamin Bok is playing with the white pieces against Rodrigo Vasquez. Okay, white has a very nice advantage, and soon d6 pawn is going to fall. Maybe right now. Is there knight d6? Yes. As we say, a pawn. So knight f6, queen e5, another pawn. Or c4 is hanging. Yeah, c4 is hanging. Well, where we have results already. Looks like nowhere. Is there a beautiful checkmate? I'm trying to create something. Yeah, bishop c5, let's say. If rook moves to c8, then there is queen d8 checkmate. So rook e8 needs to be played. Yes. Simply takes. Okay, the pawn is just going to walk. The pawn is simply going to walk. a7. Even queen b8 might be a move here. Just an interesting move with the idea to play like rook d8 and stay a queen up. Okay, we have seconds on the board. Queen c6 was played. Queen c6 was played. Okay, white, whatever plays, has a winning position. Let's go back to Nakamura's game. What did happen here? What did happen here? White had such a big advantage and suddenly... Okay. Now this pawn is weak. But how to attack it? Okay, white is attacking f5. If takes, then maybe simply knight g3. And if f4, white is winning the pawn. Okay, after f5, this actually happened, and a3. Well, if white manages to exchange this pawn, how to break through in this position? But black doesn't have a time. There are only seconds. Sorry. Okay, this is the position. Objectively, it's a draw. But everything can happen. It's rapid. By the way, while we are talking about this tournament, let's talk about the main tournaments of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival. And it's already the 30th year in a row. There is the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival happening in the capital of United Arab Emirates. Okay, a lot of stuff happened. I don't know why it's not moving. White is still trying to break through or flag. Is there a chance white will actually flag in this position? Okay. Okay, seconds. And black loses a pawn. Does this mean something? Does this mean something? Or it doesn't? Okay. No, apparently it does not mean anything. And it looks like a draw, but can white actually make... Okay. Ah, what a beautiful stalemate. 95, very well spotted, and it is a draw because there's a stalemate. Even if white king didn't take the knight, there was nothing much to do. So yeah, we have some results. Let's go to the game of Bogdan Dik. And pawn, extra pawn, but this position is a draw. This is a famous Philidor position, and it is a draw, but it's not easy to play when you have only seconds, but of course he's an experienced player. Okay, we have a draw on the chessboard, and we have another game where Reza Mahdavi is playing against international master Maria Gevorgyan. Looks completely equal if someone doesn't get lucky. Okay, let's see if we have another, and here the game finished. We have only 2 games going on. Karina Ambartsumova against Mohamed Nuber Shah. Okay, is there check and queen? And white is winning? Looks like, and white wins. So after round 5 in the tournament. We have 5 players with the 5 points. And the games just started. Round 6 just started. Okay, and here we have Matthias Bluebaum against Benjamin Bock, and okay, F4, G4. What an aggressive game by Matthias Bluebaum. G5 is coming with the same ideas to bring and put an attack on H7 pawn. After G4, Black is thinking. Benjamin Bock is thinking, because not easy. Can Black simply actually try to develop the knight? Yes, this is exactly what is happening. G5 and knight D4. This is a beautiful square for the knight on E4. Bishop B5, knight D4. And if takes, E3. Wow, rook and the bishop are hanging. Okay, what to do now? And the black's rook is hanging and the pawns are hanging. What is happening? Bishop H1. Black doesn't even take the rook, just takes the pawn. And if the bishop takes, I believe bishop H1 is going to be played. Takes, and well, looks like not so easy. And bishop E8 was played. Actually, this line happened, and bishop E8, queen E8. Black refused to take the rook because... Okay, and black is exchanged down, but this bishop is a very strong bishop, and the white's king is completely open, and black has 2 bishops. The passed pawn. I like black's position. It looks very easy to play with the black rather than with the white, to be honest. Let's check what is happening in the game of... Okay, Kem Khan against Denis Lazavic. And here we have kind of equal position. And then we have Aram Hakopian against Andrew Hogg. Also looks pretty equal. And Andrew Hogg has 4.5 points. Okay, and Nakamura is playing against Caden Trough. He has only 4 points out of 5. Still, by the way, one more time, let me remind you that after the main tournament, we are going to have the playoffs. And in the playoffs, 4 players are supposed to join the Zoom meeting, and they are going to play 2 rounds. After, if the match ends in a draw, they are supposed to play a Armageddon game. So, okay, what is happening in this position? And Nakamura is taking his time. He has to make a choice. Why not to simply capture what happens after this? This looks like a pawn. Maybe he's scared of bishop a6. Maybe. Bishop f6 was played. What's the idea? Queen d6? What black wants to do? Ah, there was knight g5 hanging. Sorry, I blundered. If black was capturing, white was taking. And if the queen took, there was queen d7. I'll show you very, very quickly what I'm talking about. If black captured the pawn, there was knight g5. And if queen g5, but there is queen d7. But is there queen g2 or rook d8? I think this is what Nakamura was calculating. Bishop f6 was played and queen d6 right away. Now white has c6. c6, yes. How to prevent this? If rook c8. Okay, bishop f3 was played, knight f3, bishop c3 check, at least weakening the king, and bishop b4. Okay, the pawn is back. Queen a5, and black sacrifices a piece. Is there queen d8, or what happens after queen d7? Isn't it a piece? And it happens, and bishop c5. Okay, maybe this was just a blunder. It can be just a blunder. Because black has only one pawn against the piece. Is this enough to win the game? Okay, knight e5 is coming. f7 is a problematic pawn now. Rook f8 has to be... Okay, bishop e7 was played. And after queen e7, black is planning to first give a check maybe and then play queen e5. So bishop e7 on the board. And queen e7, queen e5 or rook b2 first, then queen e5. But queen e5, rook d8, and white is exchanging the rooks. So I believe queen e5 is on the board. And is there rook d8? And if captures, king h7, maybe bishop d3. This looks winning for white. Yes, and this happens. And bishop a6, not even bishop d3 check, just bishop a6. And looks like there are problems for Nakamura now, but queen h5, f3, of course he grabs a pawn. But this is not easy. But we have to count that Kayden Troff has only like 17 minutes, seconds on the clock, which is making everything harder for the black player. And there are always some ideas with the giving checks, like queen d2, but bishop e2 always covers. White is trying to fully cover the fact that black can somehow end up giving perpetual checks. f4 was played, and there are no more checks on the board, so black has to choose a move, and it was king g8, queen e5. There are no checks. If black wants to get some chances, maybe the queen shall come to h2 or h4, trying to give some checks. Maybe queen h1 now. Yeah, queen h1 was played. Queen h2, king e1, and king e2 simply. The king is running away. Queen g2. Okay, maybe queen d5 we'll see soon. Queen h1 most likely. Bishop f1. Okay, king d2. Okay, of course white doesn't want to draw, but this might be already a little complicated because there are always checks. Queen g2, queen c6, yeah? So many checks. And queen c6 check. Okay, bishop c4, there are no more checks, but what to do if queen c6, bishop c4? Queen a8, the queen is going to the other corner of the chessboard trying... Oh my god, what a blunder! What a blunder! What a blunder by white player Kayden Troff. He simply blundered his queen, queen a1, and the queen f6 is gonna be lost soon. This might be painful. Playing such a good game, queen a8. Trap worked, like queen a8, queen a1 was the only trap, because we couldn't see any other way how black was gonna supposed to win this game. But magician and queen a1. Suddenly white is losing a queen, and wow, that's how these top players are getting out of these complicated situations. The time gets low, some traps, and boom. Wow, what a nice trap. Like, it should have been very painful, to be honest. Okay, so Gata Kamsky is playing against Rudik Markaryan, and Gata Kamsky has 4.5 points and Rudik has 4 points. Okay, we can see that white is pawn up. They are both playing on seconds. Okay, so looks like a draw. I think the knight, yeah, looks like a very drawish position. The knight simply has to give it up itself to the pawn, and that is going to be the end of the game, yeah. And this is exactly what is happening in the game. We have 3 games left. Okay, beautiful checkmate. Actually, David Paravian, he was with the black pieces, yes, and he managed to give the checkmate with the bishop and the knight. We all know that, especially when you're playing on a seconds, it's not that easy, but he showed a brilliant technique and won the bishop and a knight versus king. So, last game, again. This looks drawish, If no one blunders anything, it is Same Sadek versus Matias Perez Gomez. Okay, Okay, now this is a draw, and we have the results for the round 6 of the Abu Dhabi online chess tournament. And after round 6, we have only one leader in the tournament, and he is Aram Hakopian. He has 100% points. We are waiting for the games. He has 100%, 6 out of 6. And here we are seeing that he's playing with the black pieces against Matthias Bluebaum, who has 5.5. And the black pieces, the sole leader of the tournament. Okay, this looks pretty interesting. E4 is on the way. D6, black is planning to play C5 somewhere. Maybe right now, maybe later. Castle. Okay, C5 doesn't work because D6 is always hanging. Maybe just knight E8 and E5 might be an idea. Or is there knight H5 kind of a moves? Pushing the bishop back and pushing F5 might be an idea. Okay, H6 was played. And if queen D2, king H7. E5. Takes, okay. By knight, looks like by knight is on the way. Okay, let's check another games. Hikaru Nakamura against Sam Shankland. This is going to be a very interesting game, actually. Before was played, if black captures, white plans to capture, and is there knight d5? Okay, before takes, and queen d6 maybe is an idea here. Bishop e6 was played. After bishop e6, well, before is not hanging, but it's not easy to create an attack. Maybe h4. Not with the idea to push h5, but just to, okay, b5. Let's replace this knight from c6 square, and then we'll do the rest. Knight a5, knight c5. What is going to happen now? Beautiful tactics. If captures, the rook is going to take. Maybe bishop. Not easy to choose. Black plays bishop d5 and white takes with the bishop. Black takes. And how white is going to put a pressure on a5 pawn? Because this bishop on d5 looks to be a very, very nice piece. It just controls the whole board, to be honest, for now. Okay, queen d2, queen d6, rook fc1. Another point to attack. a5 right now is hanging and black needs to protect. Queen b6 move doesn't work because there is knight d7 fork. So how to protect the a5 pawn? Rook fb8. Okay, what happens now? If rook a5, queen a5, and then is it a pawn? Looks like a pawn to me. Okay, knight a6 was played. Now rook b7, rook b5 doesn't work because there is knight c7 again. So many forks available in the position. And after rook b7, rook a5. A pawn. And it's not easy to go out from this situation. Okay, we will go to check what is happening on the top board. So one more time, Aram Hakopian is leading the tournament. What happened here? If captures, bishop takes, rook c7. Are there some tactical opportunities to play rook b7, queen a8? No, because the queen is protecting the rook. Are there some... Okay, after knight b5, yeah, black took and bishop b5 was played. Rook c7 looks to be pretty. Bishop c6. Nice. Nice. Bishop c6. Okay, white is piece down, but has two passed pawns. which look very dangerous. Rook d7, queen d7. Was there an interesting idea to play queen a8? I'm not sure about it though, but queen d5. Okay, if black exchanges the queens, then instead of 2 pawns, black has 3 connected pawns walking down the hill. And if doesn't exchange, the next move is pawn is just being pushed. Knight d4 was played. Okay, that was a nice solution, but does this work? Like take, and b5. How black is going to stop these pawns? Knight a7. Okay, knight a7 simply. And if b6, knight c6. And this knight is simply blocking all the opportunities for white to push. And if... Well, yeah, there's knight c6. Maybe bishop d2 needs to... Knight d4, bishop d4, yeah. Queen d5 takes. Okay, and now does this queen manage to stop this pawn or not really? Is the king on time? It is on time. It is on time. But the problem is that if king e3 now, is there bishop c3? B5 has to be played. And simply bishop b4. And the bishop is stopping all the pawns. After d3, no move was played yet. No moves have been played yet. It's not easy. It's not easy because the king is close to these 3 pawns. I am going to keep the pawn on d2. Otherwise, white is losing one of the pawns. d6 was played, but bishop d4. These pawns are not moving. If d7, king e7. If c6, simply bishop b6, there is c7. Is there c6 now? Yes, c6 is played, and king e8, simply b5. And what is going to happen now? f5, h4, king d8, and black stops the pawn, and this is completely winning for black. If d7, simply king d6, king c7. b6 is never possible because bishop captures. If c7, simply king d7. And it's very important that the b pawn is never moving forward. Wow. This looks like winning for black. Very interestingly played. But meanwhile, Nakamura won his game against Sam Shankland. And g3, bishop b6. Wait, this looks king d7 simply. Yeah, and king d7 is played on the board. g4 takes. White. Oh, okay, this looks like game over. Okay, and black is winning his game, and Aram Hakopian is going to have 100% points like very, very soon. Okay, and black is winning his 7th game in a row. Wow, what a result. What a result. So right now, not all the games are finished, but we have one player with the 7 points, 100% result. Aram Hakopian, 7 out of 7, and then Laz has 6.5, and Benjamin Bok has 6.5. Nakamura is following with the 6 points. And let's check what other games we have here around. Okay. Looks like black is winning. Bogdan Daniel Dik is winning against Levan Pansola. Okay, he won. And here we have Artur Snexens against Alua Nurman. And oh, okay, this has to be very winning. Well, if black manages to take this pawn magically out of the board, it's going to be a draw because the white squared bishop is not as the same color as the h8 square, but unfortunately the f4 pawn was there, and Artur Nixens is winning his game against Alua Nurman. And we have another few games happening. Priyanka Nutaki is playing against Jun Zhao, and wow. Okay, if a7 simply takes, and apparently the pawns are winning against rook with the bishop. Black is completely winning, and this is the last game of the round 7, and then we're going to move with to the round 8, where okay, this is completely lost. Now sometimes people are asking like why people keep playing, because you never know, everything can happen when you're playing an online tournament. Everything can happen. Internet problem can appear, your blunder can mouse slip, give a stalemate, and so on. So everything can happen, and this is what we shall remember about. Okay, round 8, and we have only one sole leader in the tournament, which is Aram Hakopyan, and he's playing against Denis Lazavic with the white pieces. Rui Lopez, we have it here. Okay, the open line. This is very interesting, obviously. They are playing so fast. They know all the opening. Okay, are they repeating? Yes. That was a pretty fast draw. A pretty fast draw. What just happened? It lasted like a few seconds and we have a draw. Okay, on the second board we have Benjamin Bok against Hikaru Nakamura, and the pawns dominating the center. We have the Queen's Pawn English defense, and okay, Bishop G7, most likely Knight C7 is going to be played. Yeah, a normal opening. Again, I think this was just now played in Aram Hakopyan's game in the previous game. H6. They are playing pretty fast. King H7. Okay, Bishop B7 has to be played somewhere with the fianchetto bishops. B4 is Bishop B7 is going. Okay, A5. Looks very interesting to play Bishop B7 and then F5 idea somewhere and trying to open the bishop. Is F5 coming now? I hope so. I want to see this move. Okay, not yet. Not yet. Black is taking his time before. F5 looks pretty interesting. Knight F6. Okay, he just didn't want to do it. Well, now we have an interesting situation in the tournament because Aram Hakopyan already drew, and if Benjamin Bok is winning, then he's catching up with Aram Hakopyan. Otherwise, looks like no one is catching up with him for now for this round. But one more time, let me remind you that the top 4 players are going to go to a playoff, and they are going to play matches between each other with 2 rounds, and then if the match ends in a draw, then we are going to have Armageddon. Rook e4, and after rook e4 is there Bishop f3. This is going to be the main game of this round, to be honest. Bishop f3 or Bishop d3 maybe. Bishop d3 looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. By the way, in the chat, if someone has any recommendation for a game, you can just say it in the chat and we can go to check it. Rook e4, Bishop d3, Rook e8. Rook e1 was played, okay. Yep. Knight e5, f3. It doesn't work. How to continue? I'm running out of the ideas. Okay, rook e7. He just took the rook back. Maybe he wants to place the knight on e5. So he had to take the rook back. The f7 pawn has to stay there to protect the e6 square. And knight c6 is played. I think black is going to capture and knight e5, right? This looks pretty good. Okay, bishop c6 has to be played without any second doubt. And it is being played, and white captures the bishop very fast. And knight e5, it's a central square. The problem with knight e5 is that when white actually protects the pawn on c6, this knight might be always under a problem of a threat of f4 and being trapped, but there is always a simple solution with the g5, and the knight can hide on the g6 square. So d6, knight e5, if queen d5, simply queen e8 maybe. Yeah, queen e8 is possible. Knight f6 was played. Okay, what scared him from knight e5? Maybe queen d5, yeah, bishop f3. White has 2 bishops. This pawn is pretty good. Rook a3 was played. Rook a3, is there bishop d4? Yes, there is bishop d4. I like white's position, to be honest. The times are equal. I like white's position because of the pair of bishops, obviously. And Well, what is going to happen now? Is there rook a8? It's very hard to find a plan with the black pieces. But what's the white plan? Can white take and play rook e1 just to open up the... Okay, queen b2 was played. The battery of the queen and the bishop on the a1 h8 diagonal. Knight e8, bishop d5. But now white is losing the pair of the bishops and complicating his life. Knight f5 will be placed very soon. g4 was played, yes, just blocking, and f5. The thing is that the black squared bishop was always standing there with some threats to sacrifice on b6 at some points, but now it's gone. And king g2, queen f8. Okay, I think the complications are starting now. How to bring this rook to e1? It's not easy because black's next move might be rook e8, rook c3. If rook e8, rook e3. Okay, the rook is not coming to e1, it is going instead to e3. Takes, queen g5. Some problems. We shall remember that queen and a knight play better with each other than the queen and the bishop, or the rook and the bishop are playing better than the rook and the knight. So this might be a typical idea of this knight f5, nicely played. Queen f4. Nice. White is forcing again. That was the whole idea. Okay, but wait, knight f3. White lost an exchange. White lost an exchange, but it's not easy because the king is very weak. Okay. Now the checks are starting. Black is winning now. Ooh, how? Again, one more time. Queen f4, knight h4 was simply blundered, and black is winning an exchange. Queen f4 was played. Okay, if black manages to exchange the queens, it is basically game over. And white doesn't have time. And black, of course, is trying to exchange the queens, but also white's position. Black finds the a file to enter with the rook. The moment the rook and the queen are next to the white's king, that is going to be game over, right? Like now, rook a2 and checkmate is on the way, queen h2. Nice game. Nice game. What a game. Nakamura wins his game and he has 7 points. He is only half point behind the leader, Aram Hakopian. So, and there are also there are 3 players behind. Let's see if there are any other interesting games happening right now. Okay, white is winning in the Adam Favze game against Anthony Atanosov. Volodar Murzin is playing also in the tournament, and we shall say that he's one of the leaders in the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, as we know. And he is currently winning his game against Aaron Mendes with the black pieces. And yeah, wow. Wow, this is interesting. And he wins. He wins. I mean, this is amazing. This is wonderful. They played a long round. They are in a classical tournament, but they are not missing this wonderful event, of course. Online Blitz tournament of Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, which has $10,000 prize fund, and the first place takes $5,000 at home. Not so bad for a few hours of having fun and playing chess, right? Of course, it's not that easy to win it, but yeah. Okay. So. Petros Trimitsios against Almaz Rahma. I have queen end game. Looks drawish. Everything can happen. White is playing for a win, but it's not that easy. So yeah, again, everything can happen. Okay, another game. This looks like a draw. And we are almost done with the round 8, and we are going to have another breaks very soon. I mean now. We are going to be back in literally 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're still in the tournament. Everything is just heating up. The last 3 rounds to go. We have a leader, Aram Hakopian, with the 7.5 points out of 8. And on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place, we have Denlas, Hikaru, and Adam Fauzi. And sorry, one more player we have, Bardia Daneshvar. And so one sole leader for 5 people, sorry, 4 people following, and don't go anywhere. Everything is just heating up. See you very soon. See you after 5 minutes. Hello everyone and welcome back to the online chess tournament, Blitz tournament of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival 2024. And here we are on the round 9, and after 8 rounds we have a sole leader Aram Hakopian with 7.5 points, but there are 4 players following him with the 7 points, Hikaru Nakamura, Danny Laz, Bardia Daneshvar and Atam Farzi. And on the first board, we have the main match of this round. Hikaru Nakamura versus Aram Hakopian. And we can see that... Okay. The opening was King's Indian attack. Yugoslav variation. And Rook A6, pretty interesting move. What's the idea? Maybe to play Rook... Okay. Before is going to be played somehow, somewhere, somehow, or no. C3 and b5. Okay, b4 doesn't work right now because white will take, and then a4 will be hanging. So b4 doesn't work at this moment. And after bishop f4, of course, white. There are some ideas. White can push like h4, h5. Black is playing h6. And then white has an idea to bring the knight to g4 and queen d2 with some sacrifices on h6. But I don't see it happening for now. Black is taking his time. But I believe if white doesn't do much, black doesn't do much, then this idea might be actually happening. d4 was played. Okay, now I understand the idea of rook a6. He wanted to play d6 so that after white takes, the rook will not be on the diagonal of the bishop. So d4 was played. Okay. It's not a free pawn, but is this possible just to push h4 now? Again, with the idea to play h5, forcing somehow black to play h6. Okay, c4 was played. But this looks like giving up a passed pawn for black. But okay, there is no longer b4 happening, but b2. b2, I'm starting to like black's position. I didn't like this c4 move, to be honest, that much. Was there any other move? Yeah, again, I think h4 was pretty logical. It looked pretty logical. But okay, c4 was played, and knight a5. If queen a4... If queen a4, what will happen? Knight b6, and black is taking the c4 pawn. Okay. So knight a5, queen a4, knight b6 was not played. Knight a5 was simply played. Well, but white doesn't have much of a choice. Queen a4 has to be played. Queen a4 had to be played because otherwise there was no other way. I mean, black was simply playing knight b3 and now knight c4. And is there some b4 ideas or b3? a3 is hanging right now. Maybe knight bd2. Still, the fact is that black has a passed pawn, but also, yeah, knight d2 was played, bishop d2. Is there a c4 kind of a move? Just to play like c4 and then try to play d3. Or bishop b7 looks also pretty interesting right now. Bishop b7 was played, and knight g5 and d3. I still like the black's position. d3. The next move, black is going to take on g2. Okay, queen had to come to c1 because otherwise the knight was hanging on g5. So bishop g2, king g2, and bishop g5. Queen d5, what a beautiful square for the queen. King g1 and knight c4. d2 is a very good threat right now. Maybe queen c3 is a way to stop this. No move yet. Is there any other interesting ideas for now? By the way, if you have a particular game that you would like to check during this round, just drop it in the chat and we can go check it together. And okay, queen c3. No move yet. His time is going down. His time is going down. queen c3 looks pretty interesting though. We have a move, queen c3. I think that was the only move, otherwise d2 and rook d1, knight d5. Wait. Aha, there's knight f3, but okay, what does this give? The king couldn't go any other way, other place, because it would be a discovery check with the knight d2. So king f1, knight h2. Okay. Is there, if knight f3, bishop h6? Does this work? Queen e5? I don't know. I don't know. Bishop e3. Actually, yes, knight f3 was played and bishop e3. Knight d4. Takes. Huh. What is happening here? Queen g1, queen b7 wants to take on b2. And Nakamura is playing on seconds. Is there a rook a5, rook f5 somehow? Yes. Okay, king g1. Rook f2 was played. Is there queen d3? Queen d3. King g1. Queen e3, rook c3, and okay, this game is going to be going very fast. Somehow white's king is still weak. Black has an extra pawn, but let's not forget that if these two pawns suddenly start making progress, it is going to be a huge problem for black, because the king is closer to the pawns. Okay, black holds this advantage. Maybe h5 will be played somehow. Rook c2. Okay, rook d2, queen e5. How to continue? h5. Yes, that's the right setup. Queen c1, maybe rook e1 wanted to be played. Okay, exchanging will not help much. And rook d2, because rook d1 looks to be a little problematic. Queen g2, queen e1. Okay, before, what is the black's idea? Maybe to play rook d4 and try to push like h4? Well, this is happening very fast. Somehow Aram was low on time, and Nakamura, okay, they drew. They just repeated the position. And Nakamura was, okay, we have a draw also on the third board and the fourth board. Okay, sorry. On the second board, another fight for, I mean, the winner is catching up the leader, and it's Denis Lazavic against Adam Fawazi. Black has two knights, and okay, but this pawn is going. Wait a second, knight c6, king d5, okay. Now, okay, this is a roller coaster. This is an actual roller coaster. Okay, I think we're going to have another draw, and we do have it. And only one player with the 7 points managed to win, Bardia Deneshvar, and he catches up on Aram Hakopian after round 9. We have the last 2 rounds coming up, and Aram Hakopian has 8 points. He's sharing the first place with the Bardia Daneshvar. Hikaru Nakamura, Denilaz, Adam Wavzi, and well, we have Benjamin Bok. Wonderful time. Who is wonderful time? Let me just check very, very quickly. Tuan Min Lee are following them up, and we are going to see the final 2 rounds very soon. We are going to have the last 2 rounds. Okay, we have Penguin Andrew Tang against Dimitris Alexakis. And again, the Philidor position in the rook endgame. In the rook endgame, okay. This has to end in a draw, but everything can happen. Okay, this looks like a draw. And Tu's chess, okay, this is a very theoretical draw. I don't know where they're playing, because a1 square is the opposite square of the black's white squared bishop, and especially if the king managed to come to a1, this is it. this is game over. Maybe black is trying to flank the opponent or something, but there is no other way to win. Okay, and then we have a draw, and Andrew Tang, Dimitris Alexakis against Andrew Tang, and well, this is a very well known against another theoretical position, which is a draw, and black is holding it pretty well. Obviously, he knows how to hold these positions, I believe. Well, they are trying. I mean, player with the black pieces is obviously playing for. Okay, rook. Oh! This was painful. He just left the rook under attack. That's why they keep playing. I mean, it's online, it's Blitz. Everything can happen. Everything. There can be mouse slip. The time can run out. Everything can happen. Like, literally. And that was a very good example. Just keep playing. Just keep playing because yeah. Okay, and there we have round 9. And on the first board, we have the two leaders, Aram Hakopian against Bardia Daneshvar. This is the round 10. And okay, this is the position. And let's see what is happening here. Okay, yeah, the opening again. We saw this today, and apparently this is getting very fashionable. Should be 7. Black is thinking. White is gonna. Okay, knight b5, a4, and the knight is trapped. We already saw this position in another game. Okay, black is thinking. d5. d5 is the right move was played, and white doesn't even have to take it right now, but he took it. And we have to check the game between Tuan Min Lee against Hikaru Nakamura. Well, the game just started. Everything can happen there. And I think we shall go back to the leaders of the tournament. This is going to be the main game of the tournament. Aram Hakopian against Bardia Daneshvar. They have 8 points out of 9. Both of them leading the tournament together. And the winner of this game is going to take the sole leader, but it does not mean anything yet because everything will be decided in the tie breaks between the top 4 players of the tournament. And one more time, this is the 30th Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, and this is part of a bunch of events that are happening in the capital of United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. Lots of tournaments. This is one of them, and this is the online Blitz tournament for all the title chess players all around the world. Whoever couldn't make it to Abu Dhabi this year to play the tournament, and by the way, whoever didn't make it this year can come next year or the other year, because it's always sunny in Abu Dhabi, it's always happy in Abu Dhabi, and we are always enjoying the good weather here. Not only good weather, a lot of chess events. By the way, tomorrow we are going to have FIDE 100 Torchlight in Abu Dhabi again, and at the same time there will be an exhibition of the famous photographer Steph Bonhaga, and besides this, tomorrow we have the Ladies Blitz tournament in Abu Dhabi, not online, only for ladies, and I think we have a community tournaments. So many events, and in the main tournament, Abu Dhabi Chess Festival Masters, we just finished today the round number 6, and there are 3 rounds to go to know who is going to be the winner and walk home with the $30,000. And Rook A5 was played. Okay, this looks very interesting. White is leading a nice outpost C5 for one of the pieces. It can be the rook, it can be the knight, it can even be the queen. The A file is controlled by, okay, the queen came there. The A file is controlled by the rook. Okay, the knight cannot capture because B2 pawn would be hanging. White has to capture by rook. And what is happening now? Okay, there is no move like bishop c2 because just rook c2 if the rook wasn't here. Can the black knight come to push this rook out of c5? Okay, not really apparently. I was thinking, okay, he wants to play rook b8 and somehow transfer the knight to... Okay, white is pushing, and king f8. Okay, trying to bring the king to d7, at least trying to hold the position a little bit. Is there knight b3, b5? Okay, the knight is protecting the rook. This is not going to work. And in the game between Tuan Minli against Hikaru Nakamura, we have another interesting position, b5, and black is pushing on the queen side, while white tried to create some attack on the king side. It didn't work. Black simply fully blocked everything for white. This pawn is not moving to g4. The knight on e5 is a wonderful piece. Before, later a4, a5, and then maybe knight b7, knight b6, and then a4 is going to be followed. Knight g5 wants to be played. Okay, this is going very fast. And the times are... Nakamura is leading for now. Of course, he wants to place the knight again on e5 square. Well, shall we go back on the leaders board to see what is happening? Okay, Aram Hakopyan is actually leading a lot. Bardia Daneshvar has only 8 seconds on the clock, and he's playing on the seconds, while Aram is pushing in the position and has more than 1 minute on the clock. This is going to be very hard for black to come out. Okay, now white has a passed pawn, but if e7, king d7, is there some interesting ideas with the knight d6 maybe? No. I mean, whatever white plays, he just... but black is playing pretty fast, we have to mention it. It's not like he has only 9 seconds and it's... Okay, e7 is played, king d7 most likely is going to... Yeah, king d7 is played, and e7 is hanging. How to protect this? Knight c6, yeah. Okay, right, I forgot about this move. And white is simply pawn up now. Is there rook d5 even kind of a move? Yeah, there is rook d5, rook c6, and b5, not even knight c6. Knight c6 also looked pretty good though. Okay, no time, and Aram wins his game, and now he is leading the tournament. By the way, meanwhile, Nakamura also won his game. He is leading the tournament with 9 points out of 10. Right after him, we have Hikaru Nakamura with 8.5 out of 10. Bardia Daneshvar, who just lost to the sole leader of the tournament, has 8 points. And yeah, we have a lot of 8 points there. And one more time, this means nothing yet. We are going to the last round of the tournament, but this means nothing yet because we are going to see a match between the first 4 players, and whoever... They just need to be in top 4, and that's gonna be it. So Benjamin Bog is playing against Denis Lazevsky. Okay. And looks like black got good chances. Okay, another pawn. And the king is hiding. Like, this doesn't happen a lot. But the king is completely on the other side of the board. And it's not only that, it's cut by the rook. So it cannot even go to the side where it is supposed to be initially. Okay, I feel like black is going to win in this game, and black has an extra rook, but you never know. Everything can happen until it's over. It's not over until it's over. And let's see what another games we have. Okay, here the game finished. Ohanyan Emin, he's also playing in the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival, and he has 6.5 points. And he's playing against Andrew Hogg. Okay, and he has an extra pawn. Okay, it doesn't have extra pawn anymore. Looks like drawish, but everything can happen. Oof. Oh, oh, oof. What a blunder. What a blunder. Knight c5 blunders a checkmate in one move. But of course, we cannot blame the players. It's very hard to play when you're on the second. What a blunder. It could be any move and it was a draw. Any move. Rook d6 check. e6. I don't know. Any move. But Knight c5 is the only way to get checkmated. And this happens on the board. And Emin Hovhanyan wins his game and has 7.5 points now out of 10. And we have the last board of the round 10. And a draw. Last round we have one player with 9 out of 10, which is Aram Hakopian, and we have Hikaru Nakamura following him with the half point less. Okay, we will get there yet, but now let's start with the games. And the last round of the Blitz tournament of the 30th Abu Dhabi Chess Festival online Blitz tournament through Chess.com, and we have okay, this is gonna be a draw obviously, and we can say that Hikaru Nakamura is proceeding to the knockouts, and I expect to see a draw also. Okay, Aram Hakopian is playing against the Russian strong grandmaster Dmitry Andreikin. Oh, by the way, did he? Yeah, he's playing for Maldives now. Okay, I didn't know this. He's playing for Maldives. Nice choice. Bishop f5. Okay, we can have a lot of... So we have only one draw for now. And it's Hikaru Nakamura and Dennis. We can say that Aram Hakopian is proceeding to the finals and Danilas is proceeding. So there is a fight for the 4th place of the knockout system in the online tournament, and we have Rodrigo Vasquez playing for it. Okay, and here we have Perdia Daneshvar against Benjamin Bock. Everything can happen here. Okay, Benjamin Bock has 7.5. He needs a magic to proceed to the finals. We have 3 players right now with 9 points. Aram Hakopian is still playing, and he's playing against Dmitry Andreikin, and Dmitry Andreikin also has 8 points. Of course, he wants to play because if he wins, he also proceeds to the finals. And if Aram Hakopian loses, actually everything can happen. But yeah, he has a high tiebreak, so Aram Hakopian looks like spotted his place. And well, there are 4 players. There are 4 players fighting to get to the 4th place, from which they will proceed to the knockout system of the tournament. Okay, let's check what is happening in the Perdia Daneshvar. He's one of the players with the white pieces fighting for the 4th place, and then everything will depend on the tiebreak if all 4 players manage to win. But I guess that is not possible because they are playing each other. Okay, Castor. Matthias Bluebaum. Okay, Matthias Bluebaum. He is also fighting, and Rodrigo Vasquez. So basically, winner of this game will proceed to the top 4 finals of the Abu Dhabi Chess Online Blitz tournament. Rook d1 was played. d5. Okay. Any recommendation, any other game that we shall be checking now? Actually, I feel like if Dmitry Andreikin manages to win this game, looks like he is the one proceeding Or actually, no. Uh, it's not easy. Blue Baum has the highest tie break. So if he manages to win, then he's the one. Looks like he's the one getting there. Okay. What happened here? I don't like his position. Rook b8, rook bishop d7, bishop c6. And white has a lot of problems now. Where to put the queen? Rodrigo Vasquez is showing a very good game here. Okay, any other games? So Andrew Tang is playing against Bogdan Daniel Dick, and black has Deak, and black has a nice advantage. Okay, we have Aram Hakopian's game here, and looks like he's winning again. How? Let me see. If King G7, what is actually happening here is there Queen D4, and apparently after King G8, there is simply Bishop C3, and how to stop the checkmate? There is no way to stop this checkmate. And Queen D4. Okay, this was actually played. Okay, but what to play now? King G8, Bishop C3. What is happening? Doesn't black have to give up something here? Bishop H6 was chosen to be played. Well, this is not the move that I was expecting. E5, Queen E5, Queen E7, King H1, Bishop H6. That was a very, very unusual move. I was expecting to see Bishop C3. I don't know why Bishop H6 was played there. It was a little hard for me to understand what happened. But now it's interesting. Now black is... Okay. Queen H5. Rook E4. Okay. This looks equal, but they don't have the right to do a draw. What? What just happened here? Black blundered the queen. Rook e4 with the trap to take rook f8, and black actually blundered the queen. Oh my god. This happens. Knight f4 and it's game over. Wow, what a nice trap by Berdia Deneshvar. Rook e4 with the idea to move the rook with the check and capture the black's queen, and this is exactly what happened in the game. b3, rook f8, queen, and queen h5, and white is queen up on the most important game of the day, because a lot of things was actually depending on this game. And by the way, in the game of Aram Hakopian, this is our current position, where this looks... okay, this is interesting because the pawn is h1 square is the same color as the black's bishop, which means that black has good chances to win. Yes, and black is winning. Black is winning his game. Dmitry Andreikin is winning against Aram Hakopian, the sole leader. And are we going to have... Wait, we have right now 5 players with 9 points out of 11. And I can see for now there are still games going on. The tiebreaks can change. Wait, are we going to have another players? Yes. Okay, we have... Wait, are we having 6 players? And unfortunately for Andreikin, his tiebreak looks very, very low. And here, okay, there was no fight. We have actually 6 players with the same points, but we cannot have the final scene unless we finished. Okay. Okay, Krikor is playing here against Cristobal Henriquez. Again, the Philidor position. How many times we saw the Philidor position today? I already lost the count. And Gulrughebim Tokhrejanova is playing against Vianney Antoni de Cuncha. I hope I pronounced the surnames right. And h6, f4. Okay, this looks drawish, but again, everything can happen. We have only 2 games going on, and I don't know if they will affect the final result somehow. There was a check. There was a check and f6. Okay, it was missed already. Okay, this is a dead draw, but we saw some games where it was a dead draw. Okay, for now, I can see that Aram Hakopian is proceeding to the finals. Then on the second place, we have Hikaru Nakamura, if nothing changes. And on the third place, we have Denis Lazavic. And on the fourth place, we have Matthias Blubaum. If nothing changes after the last round, this is the top 4 players that will proceed to the knockout system. Unfortunately for Bardia Deneshvar and Dmitry Andreikin, who had the same points as all the other 4 players, only 4 players will proceed to the finals. And I don't see anything changing in the standings for what I see right now. Okay, we're going to have a draw very soon. This is not affecting the tie breaks in any way. This is the last game of the final of the 30th online Abu Dhabi Chess Blitz tournament in chess.com. And there we go. We have the final result. Aram Hakopian with the 9 points shares from first place to the 6th place with the top grandmasters, and only 4 players finished in top 4, and we are going to have only top 4 players in the tie break. And here are the winners: Aram Hakopian on the first place, Hikaru Nakamura on the second place, Denis Lazavic on the 4th place and 3rd place, and Matthias Blubaum on the 4th place. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back for the knockout system. One more time, there will be 2 matches between every 2 players, 5+1 system. See you soon. Don't go anywhere. good actually night already in Abu Dhabi time, everyone, and welcome back to the 30th Blitz tournament, online Blitz tournament of Abu Dhabi International Chess Festival 2024 in chess.com. Just one fixing that I wanted to say, that 8 players will proceed to a knockout system, and if it's 8 players, then we don't have so much heartbreak in the tournament. And again, one more time, on the first place we have Aram Hagopian. On the second place we have Denis Lazavic. On the fourth place we have Matthias Bluebaum. On the fifth place we have Dmitry Andreikin. On the sixth place we have Bardia Deneshwar. On the seventh place we have Tuan Min Lee. And on the 8th place we have Bogdan Daniel Deak. And these 8 grandmasters are proceeding to the final of the tournament, where will be a knockout system. One more time, just how the format will work. It will be 2 games between 2 players, 5+1, and the winner will proceed to the next round. If they will end up in an equal result, they will play an Armageddon, usual Armageddon, and then we will have a winner. Unfortunately, we have to finish our stream for today, because tomorrow we are coming back to have the coverage of the 7th round of the Abu Dhabi Chess Festival in the Masters tournament. For everyone who wants to follow what is actually happening in the tournament and how it's gonna end, of course we will tell about all of this tomorrow. But if you're very interested, you can go and follow Hikaru Nakamura in his channel, because he is streaming the whole tournament, and we're pretty sure you will love to see what is happening in the tournament. I think myself, I'm going to follow what is happening in the main tournament. And I wish you good night, everyone. If you're in America, good morning. Good luck to all the finalists of the tournament. And don't go anywhere. It was me, Woman Grandmaster Maria Gevorgyan, with you, and see you tomorrow.